application level, but always the server search for the URLs at which level? Project level. But you can also define the URLs at which level? Application level. But even though you include URLs at application level, so that has to be included at which level? Project level. So entry point project level, right? Always server search or look up the URLs and urls.py defined at which level? Project level. So urls.py is called URLs configuration file or URLs mapping file. And URLs can be defined at application level. So what is the advantage of defining URLs at application level is modularity and easy to maintain and reusability. So modularity means, for example, you have some 100 views are there. Okay, in one application, 100 views. In one application, some 100 views. If you write all the things at project level, it becomes very complex. So you try to divide by writing this URLs at which level? Application level. And whatever URLs you define at application level, that you include at which level? Project level. Okay. So for configuration or for configuring URLs, DJANGO.URLs module provide two functions. One is path and one more is include. So path is used for defining URL pattern. How you define the URL pattern? By using path. And how you include urls.py? By using include. So path is define URL pattern. So this is path, it followed by URL pattern and it followed by view name. And include, it followed by application name dot URLs. So what is this URLs? It is urls.py. So this include function is used at project level. So path, it followed by URL patterns and include, what you are including? Application level URLs by just giving application name dot URLs. Okay. Now this is what we have seen. I develop one project and within that I develop multiple views. So in this views.py, you have multiple views. There is a view called which one here? Index. And there is a view called which one? Products. Okay. And inside application folder, I created one module with the name urls.py. And this is what you have defined, like URL patterns. Okay. You include URL patterns and include URLs defined at application level at what? Project level. Just open urls.py existed what here? Project level. But here you have to create. You have to create one program called urls.py and you have to define this and you have to include this at which level? Project level. That's it. I think you practice this, right? Yesterday's example, right? So your project may contain multiple applications. So let me tell you an example of creating multiple applications within the project. Because a project is a collection of what here? Applications, right? So a project, a DJANGO project, okay, already I said. So project with multiple applications. Project with multiple applications. So your DJANGO project. Okay, DJANGO project is a collection of applications. So it contain one or more than one application. It is having one or more than one application. So that depends on your project. You may create either one application or you create more than one application. Okay. You create either one application or you create either more than one application. So what is a need of this here? Why you are creating multiple applications? Because again, this framework called DJANGO is developed by using one principle called dry principle. Dry is nothing but don't repeat yourself. For example, once you develop one application, that application can be used, okay, either in one project or more than one project. See, once you develop a application in one project, that application can be used either in one project or more than one project. Understood? Okay. You develop one application in one project. You want the same application in another project. You don't require to develop that application again. You just copy that application exist in the existing project into what? New project. Means are you developing same application and again and again? No. So that is one more advantage of dividing your project into multiple application, like reusability and what? Modularity, and maintaining your code also becomes what? Easy. See, most of the applications are developed by using one algorithm called what? Divide and conquer. So dividing your project into multiple things so that maintaining your things becomes what here? Easy. Getting on not. So a project is a collection of applications and it contain one or more than one application. And the content of one application can be used inside what? Another application within the same project. Content of one application can be used inside another application within the same project. Getting on not. Okay. Yes. So what I'm doing is I'm creating one project first. So I just open. So this is the location where I'm creating a project. So this is a location where I create a project. So DJANGO admin. Okay, start a project. I'm saying a start a project and project 3. Okay, this is project 3 already there. So admin, and I'm saying start a project 4. Then after that, I open the project. So this is my project. And in this, I'm trying to create applications by using manage.py. I'm saying start application 1. So Python manage.py. Okay, again, I'm saying start application 2. So I try to create how many applications in the project? 2 applications. So you can have any number of applications, but here I try to create 2 applications. Okay, so after creating applications, in each application you define views. So define views in each application. Define views in each application. Okay. So what is that here? Now open the application 1 here. So in application 1, see project 4 is there. In project 4, what is there? Application 1. In application 1, you have a views.py. So open this views.py. Now in this, you are writing number of views. So here I'm writing a view 1, and view must have at least one parameter called which one? Request. So who will create a request? Server. Who will create a response? Programmer. Okay. From django dot http import, what do you import here? HTTP response. Response is nothing but output. Response is nothing but output, and you are generating the output as an HTML, right? So here I'm writing some H1. Okay, this is a view 1. Okay, this is a view 1 of application 1. Okay, this is a view 1 of application 1. is a view one of application one, and I'm creating a response. Is I'm writing a HTTP response by wrapping which one here output, and this response is sent to what here client. So this is a view one. I may create another view. You can have a one view, or you can have what multiple views. I try to create another view, and where I'm saying output. So this is again I'm writing H1 and view 2 of application 1. View 2 of application 1. I close the header here. I'm trying to create HTTP response. I'm writing here HTTP response by wrapping which one here output. Then return. So what you written here? Response. So here I have written how many views here? Two views. One is a view 1 and one more is a view 2. I said how many ways can you represent the views is two ways. One is function based and one more is class based. But you are writing which views now? Function based. But later I'll tell you how to develop class based views, right? And what is the difference between the function based views and class based views? But now a view is nothing but a function. A view is nothing but a function, or a view is nothing but what? Class. Okay, a view is nothing but a function. A view is nothing but a class which takes the input. A view is nothing but a function. A view is nothing but a class which takes the input. Input is nothing but a request and process it and generate what? Response. You have to remember this. What is a view? Means a view is nothing but a function. A view is nothing but a class which takes a request from the client, process it, and generate what? Output. That is a functionality of which one? View. And view is an entry point. Means whenever you want to send, I mean, in your web application, anything has to be done. That has to be done only inside what? View only. So view is a response. View is a responsible in taking all the things. Okay, view will communicate with a template. View will communicate with what? Database. Everything is done by which one? View. So because of that, this view can be called as what? Controller, which control the flow of execution of the web application. That is done by which one? View only. So everything should be done inside what? View. Okay, right? So without view, you cannot send a request to your backend. Your backend cannot do anything without view, right? So everything should be written inside what? View only. Okay, right? Yes. Now after writing two views, so these two views are written in which application? Application one. Okay. So this is now define views in each application one. So here open application one. In application one, what do you open here? Views.py. In views.py, how many views have written? Two views. Okay, then open. So what you do is you create urls.py. In application one, create what? urls.py. urls.py. Create urls.py. So here I'm writing in ideally only still. Okay, but once you get familiar with this, then we'll just move into VS Code and then we'll start developing. Okay, na? So that is not a big task. Now here, what I'm doing, I'm saying import django dot what? URLs. From django.urls, okay, import what you are importing here? Path. What is the name of the list? URL patterns. So can you give any other name? No. Okay, you cannot give any other name. URL patterns is only one, right? Okay. This is only one. What is the name of this list? URL patterns. So here you define the URL patterns as one list. Okay, now how you define the URL pattern by using path. So path it followed by URL pattern. Okay. So I'm just writing here v1. Okay, v1 slash. Okay, then you have to import. So what do you have to import from? Is it required to import or not? Yes. What is that? Application one dot views. Import what here? Star. You can write star or you can write view one comma view two anything. Now you want to import all the views, then write what here? Star. And here I'm writing what? View one. Okay. So comma, then I define another path. And what is the name of the view? View two. So comma, so what is the name of this here? View two, right? So here list is close. Now this is urls.py defined at which level? Application level. So inside the application one, I should save this by giving urls.py. So what do you do now? You create. Now this is the next step. So create urls.py inside what? Application one. Create urls.py inside application one. Okay. So in that you should write this. Okay, in that I should write this. You define the path for. So you define the path for how many URLs here? Two. One is v1 and one more is what? V2. Right? So after this, now this is done. This is done with the application one. So this is application one. Then next is open application two. So in application two, again you have what? Views dot py. In application 2, you have views.py. In application 2, you have a views.py. Open that views.py in application 2. See here. Application 2, just open views.py. And in this, I'm trying to define again two views. Right? So again here also I'm giving the name as what? View 1. Now this is one more advantage. Okay. So this is one more advantage of defining URLs at which level? Application level. Okay, na? Right? So to avoid the conflict, right? So request. Okay, request. And here I'm writing the output. So what is the output is? I'm writing. So this is a view. Okay, so view of application, view one of application two, view one of application two here, view one of application two. Then after that, I'm creating HTTP response by saying DJANGO.http import. What you are importing is HTTP response. So here I'm creating object of HTTP response. Now this is HTTP response is wrapped with what? Output. And there is another view called view 2, and this is also having what? Request. And here again I'm writing output. Okay, H1. So view 2 of application 2. View 2 of application 2. And here also I'm creating a response equal to HTTP response by wrapping what here? Output. By wrapping output and return. What I written here? Response. So these are, yes, view 2, return. Okay. So return response, right? So this is a view 1 and view 2, which I've written in application 2. And after this, now you define the URLs. After this, you define the URLs. So same thing, right? But this is what here? Application 2 dot views import what here? Star. And again, the names are same, V1 as well as what? V2. You can give any other name. So don't think that you have to give the same names, but you can give any other name. But this urls.py, I'm creating in what? Application 2. Open this, and here I'm saving it. Okay, now names are same. Views are what here? Same. Okay. But you access with what? Different names. Okay. You access with different names. Now open what here? Application. I mean create. So open application 2 and create. So create what here? urls.py. Okay, for defining URL patterns here. Okay, now this is define URL patterns by just writing application 2.views, right? Then if you define the URL set application level, is it that URLs can be searched by server? No. Server always search for the URL pattern at which level? Project level. So include application level URLs at what here? Project level. Project level. So for that, what do you do it? Open the project. Open the project. And in project, what do you have? urls.py. So open the project here. Now this is your project. In the project, you have urls.py. Open this urls.py and here include. What do you include? You say from DJANGO.urls import path comma what is that? Include. Now I'm including. I'm referring this URLs by using one URL pattern. Now path. Here I'm writing application 1. So what is the URL pattern? What is a URL pattern here? Application 1, comma, include. What you are including? Application 1 dot URLs. Application 1 dot URLs, right? Comma. Now it means this URL patterns you are referring with what name? Application 1. This URL patterns you are referring with application 1. And again I'm writing a path and application 2 slash. Application 2 slash. And again I'm including, okay, URLs defined at which level? Application level. That is application 2 dot URLs here. Now it means if I'm writing, okay, if I'm sending a request like this, if I'm sending a request like this, okay, if I'm sending a request like this, application 1 slash, application 1 slash what? V1. So that will send a request to what? View 1. View 1 exists in what here? Application 1, because this URL patterns how you are referring with application 1. Okay. And this URL patterns you are referring with what here? Application 2. Now you write an application 2 slash, what is that? V1. Means it will send a request to what? View 1 available in what? Application 2. So that to overcome the conflict. But if it is everything in one, then what will happen here? There will be a conflict between the views or not? Yes, because view names are what here? Same. Now even that can be avoided by defining URL patterns at which level? Application level, right? So open the projects, and in the project urls.py include. So include both application level URLs, right? So once you've done this, next to install the, what do you do it? Install applications. But you have how many applications here? 2 applications. You have 2 applications here. Now you have to install 2 applications here, right? Which ideally? Ideally only. Which ideally means ideally only. I'm not using any PyCharm. I'm not using VS Code, because you are familiar with You're familiar with what? Ideally. Ideally, you know it, right? Huh? You know or don't know? Yes. Where you write the Python code, you write a Python code, you write a Python code where? Ideally. You can open directly in ideally and you can start developing. So don't think that you have to write only in VS Code. I mean, what is the advantage of VS Code is you can see everything. Project structure you can see at the left side. But here project structure you have to open in Explorer. Yes or no? But is it any difference is there? Is it any difference is there or just seeing all the files at one place? Seeing all the files at one place. Here also you can see. Okay. Yes. And lot of features are there. We'll discuss. What are those features, right? Install the applications. Install the applications. Install application. So where you install the applications, open. What do you open here? Settings dot. Yes, settings dot py. Now you have to install how many applications here? Two applications. Two applications you have to install. Okay, right? So here installed applications. So you can write application 1. It is a list. Can you put a comma and then you can write in the same line? You can write in the same line list, right? List creation, you know it. How you create a list within square brackets. This is there in which one here? Square brackets. What is this program is? Python program. Project is a collection of modules. Application is a collection of modules. Each module is one Python program. Yes or no? So these are Python programs and this is predefined. You cannot change it. You cannot change it. Maybe you can write in which case? Uppercase, lowercase, same or different? Uppercase, lowercase, same or different? Different. Because Python is which language? Case sensitive language and it finds the difference between uppercase and lowercase. Understood? So you should not change this because these are which variables? I mean, these are which variables? Predefined variables. It means whenever you run the server, what server is doing? It is looking for applications or not? Yes. It is looking for applications where in settings.py. In settings.py, in where it is looking for application names in one variable name. What is the name of the variable? Installed apps. If you put some other name, is it identified or not identified? Not identified. So compulsory, these variables will be the same. You should not change it. So that's the reason URL patterns means you have to write it as what? URL patterns only, but you cannot give any other name. So once you install the applications, okay, what next? Run the server. So Python manage.py run server. If you have any errors, I said no, if you have any errors, you'll get it which side? Server side. So you can see using settings. What is that settings? It is using project 4 dot settings. It means it is trying to run your app. It is trying to run your project by using which settings? Project 4 dot settings. Settings.py is called which file? Project configuration file. What is settings.py is? Project configuration file where you define database configurations, where you define database configuration, you define middleware configuration, you define application configuration, you define the templates configuration, you define the static files configuration, you define internationalizations. All this you do in what? Project 4 dot passwords. All this you do inside which module? Settings.py. Means always your project is run by configuring, executing all the things available in which module? Settings.py. Right? So once the server is run, now open the browser here. So open the browser, and within the browser has to be open, right? So once you press enter, now you can see page not found. This is what error page, and this page is now this is predefined error page or user defined predefined error page. Who's created this error page? Server, right? Okay, server page not found, resource not found. This is HTTP response. HTTP response 400, 404. That indicates what? Resource not available. If the request is successful, what is the response status is 200. Okay, we'll talk about response status codes once we move to REST API, right? So slash, now available URLs are only three. One is admin, application one, application two. Just give path. What is the path is? Application one slash. What is the name of this here? View one. Oh, again it is given error, right? So what is the error is? Output is not defined. Where output is not defined in? View 1 of application 1. Open the application 1, and here you have what is it? Output, 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 right? Okay, yes. Now, once you do changes, the changes has to be applicable here, right? So once you do changes, again it started server or not? Again it is redeployed your application or not? Yes. Okay, redeployed. See here. Okay, there is an error. See here, it is shown error, and once you rectify it, then immediately what it is done? Redeploy. So that changes has to be done or not? Yes. If the changes are not done, then what you have to do? You have to stop the server. Again, you have to start the server. But here you don't require. Here you don't require any changes you done in your application. Automatically that changes are applicable by which one? Server, right? So now so you can see view one of application one. And if I'm writing a view, now what is the name of the URL pattern? V2. Now view 2 of application 1. And here I change the path from application 1 to what? Application 2. And I just write here V1 and view 1 of application 2. And here I'm changing application 2. And this is what here? View 2. Now this is a view 2 of what here? Application 2. So what we learn till now is you should understand this. I said different things. First we created project. First application is what? A project with a view. But how many views? How many views? One view. Then next I said again we created one project and we created views. How many views we created? Yes, more than one view. One application. Okay, application only one application and multiple. I said about how to write multiple views. And third one, I said how to create a project, and we created application and we define URLs at which level? Application level. We define URLs at which level? Application level. And in the project 4, we define multiple applications. And we create URLs at which level? Application level. So this is what we have learned till now. Understood? Okay, first we started with project with how many views here? One view. Second, I said about project with multiple views. Third, I said about project with defining URLs at which level? Application level. Next, I said about project with multiple applications with defining URLs at which level? Application level, and including at which level? Project level. These are the basics. Yes. So these are the URL patterns. You should know it. How to define what is URL pattern is a name mapped with what? view. URL pattern is nothing but a name. It is nothing but a public name. Or it is a path. It is a path used to access which one? View. So that you call it as what? URL pattern. What is URL pattern? If the question is asked, what is URL pattern? Is a path used to access which one? View. URL pattern is a public name which is used by the client to call which one? View. So that you call it as what? URL pattern. Is a name, it is a public name. It is a public name. This is public name, right? What is the name is here? V2. But actually your view name is view2, V2, na? No. Your view name is what? View2. But you are calling with V2 or View2? V2. So this is a public name. You cannot call directly View2 because it is which program? Because it is which program? It is which program here? Python program. It is a Python program. This program is executed within what? Server. This program is executed within server. Server side program. It is which program? Server side. This program is executed within server and output is given to what? Client. This program is executed at server side. It is executed within the server. Output is given by client. Then how you are sending or how you are calling this view? By using one name. And this name, you call it as what? URL pattern. This name is called URL pattern. Understood? Right? So what is URL pattern? Yes, it is a public name which is used to access the view. It is a public name. It is a public name which is used to access the view. That you call it as what? URL pattern. Is a path which is used to access the view or server side resource. And that you call it as what? URL patterns. So I think I define this. Now open the settings.py. And these are what here? Applications. So that is installed applications. Okay, right. So after installing the applications, now next you have to run the server. So run the server. This is executing the server. Okay, this is executing the server. Okay, now I said this will provide the reusability. I said, what is the advantage of a project? A project may contain one application or more than one application. So can I use this application in another project? Can I use this application in another project? Yes or no? Yes. I can use this application in another project. Then how can I use an application in other projects? But this is done by just using copy and paste. You need to copy. See, you are using application, not application resources. Okay, so communication can be done, but I want to use one application of one project into what? Another project. So how to use, see here, how to use application of one project inside what? Another project. How to use application of one project inside another project. See, calling is different. See, for example, you can use the functions of one module inside what? Another module. But how you use, just import module name and then you can use it. That is different. You are calling the functions. Okay. You are calling the functions of one module inside what? Another module. But here I want to use one application of one project inside what? Another project. Then what do you do it? Copy application of one project inside what? Another project. You cannot do it directly, right? You can use, you can send a request. Suppose two projects are running. So one project can send a request to what? Another project. That you can do it. But here, what I want is one application I want to use inside what? Another application. You cannot use it directly. You have to do what? Copy the application one, which is there in project 4, into what? Project 5. So that you can use that application in project 4 as well as what? Project 5. You have to do changes only in what? URL. Getting on it. So see, communication is different, using is different. Okay, communication is different, using is different. Communication means two application. Two projects are running. One project can communicate with what? Another project. But here, I want to use application created in one project into what? Another project. So then what do you do is, now how to use application of one project inside another project is copy application created. Copy the application created in one project inside what? Another project. Copy the application. How to copy? Simple. Now first what you do is create. First what you do? Create the project. So here I'm creating one project. Stop the server here. This is how you stop and move outside the project folder and create one more project. Don't create in project 4 only. Yes. You close the project 4 and come to this. Okay. Then you create a project DJANGO admin. DJANGO admin. So start the project. Start project. So project 5. So this is one project. Now project is created, right? So what is my project now? Project 5. In this any application is there? No, no application, right? Then what I'm doing? I'm copying the application 1. Copy. Okay, copy this application 1 and just put inside what? Where you put inside? Inside the project 5 or outside the project 5? Outside the, see where is the applications are in project container folder. See here. This is which folder? Project container folder. And this is project configuration folder. Okay. So always the projects will be there inside, applications will be there inside what? Project container folder. Now copy this. I just said copy paste. Now which one is paste here? Application 1. Which is there in what? It is there in project 4. I copied in project 5. Okay, is it required to develop again? No. So that is what? Django framework is developed with one principle called what? Try principle. Try means don't repeat yourself. What you don't repeat? Code. You don't build the same code again and again. Understood? You don't build the same code again and again. See, it has been copied. Then what do you do it? Everything is available or not? Yes. What do you do it? You just open settings.py or urls.py. See here. Just open urls.py and here define the URL patterns. What do you define here? Path. So path, and here I just write application 1. Application 1, comma, what is the name of that? Application 1 dot URLs. Include. So here I'm writing path, comma, include. Okay. So what you are including? Application 1 dot URLs. Application 1 dot URLs. Now this URL module is included at which level? Project level. Then after that, open settings.py and here you install the application. And what is the name of your application here? Application 1. The name of your application is application 1, right? So that's all. Or you develop the application or use the application. Use the application. Run the project by saying, now open the project here, project 5, and Python manage dot py run what? Server. Now you are trying to install which project? Project 5. Now which project is running now? Project 5. See here, you say run server. It is looking for which file? Run server. Now it is looking for which file? Settings.py in what? Project 5. Means which project is running? Project 5. Can I run project 4? I want to run project 4. How can I run project 4? You should open one more command prompt. Open one more command prompt. Okay. Open one more command prompt. See, this is another command prompt. Okay. So DJANGO. Okay. What is that? 7:30 a.m. May. Right. So now here open project 4. Open the project 4 and here I'll say Python manage.py. Again I'm saying run server. When I say run server, now it's running, right? Both are running on same port. Both are running on what? Same port. This is 8000 and this is also 8000. Two projects are running, one project, two projects. But here to avoid this conflict, what do you do it? You run with the same number, same port number or different port number? Different port number. You run with a different port number. I'll say 8000, 8000 what? 1. Now this project, which project is running on 8001? Project 4. Which project is running on 8000? Project 5. Open the browser now. So open the browser and I send a request here by typing. Now this is my URL. Okay, type the URL and application1 slash v1. Now you can see view 1 of what here? Application 1. If I'm writing 8001, this is 8001. This is 8001. And here I'll say application 2 slash v1. Now this is view 1 of what? Application 2. Now 8001 belongs to which project? Project 4. And 8000 belongs to which project? Project 5. Ring or not? Project 4 and one more is project 5. Understood? So you can run multiple projects and each project you run, okay, each project you run with one port number. So you have to run with one port number. So otherwise it will be a conflict. Yes. Okay, right. So that's all. Now this is using create project. So you created one project, right? Now this is a project created. So created project. Okay, here create the project. And after creating a project, what do you do it? Second step is copy application 1 of project 4 inside project 5. Copy paste. Copy means what? Copy and then what? Paste. Copy means don't look for copy. So copy and paste. Copy paste. And after that, third step is what? Open. Open what? Project folder. Okay, which project? Project 5. Project 5, which one? urls.py and include it. Include urls.py of. So include urls.py of application 1. Include urls.py of application 1. So here, just include this. include this. And fourth step is, what do you do it? Install which one? Application. Just open settings.py. Open settings.py, and then what do you do it? Install the application. Open the settings.py and install the application. Now, application 1 is installed here. Okay. Install the application, and after that, run the server, and send a request. Run the server and send a. Sixth one is what? Open browser and send what? Request. How you send a request? By typing the URL http://127.0.0.1:8000/application1/v1 V1 or V2. But you have only one application. You don't have multiple applications. Understood? Okay. So how to create a project? How to copy the application of one project inside another? What is your problem here? Kunal, what do you want? What do you want? Kunal, what do you want? No problem. It's only warnings, right? So warnings can be avoided. Errors cannot be avoided. Warnings can be avoided. Errors cannot be avoided. Errors has to be rectified, but warnings, you can avoid it. No problem. It is just saying that, okay, so this is development server. Do not use it in a production settings. Use a production WSGA and AGS server instead of. But I don't know where you are running this. Okay. But anyway. Okay, right? Yes. Warnings, no problem. But if any errors are there, you must rectify. If errors, you cannot run it. But if it is warning still, you can run it. Okay. So here, now you can define the path. You can define the path by using which function? Path function. You have a path, and you also have another function called what? RPath. So URL pattern can be defined by using one more function here. And what is the name of the function here? RPath. So what is the R? R indicates what here? Regular expression. What is R indicates here? Regular expression. What is regular expression? ऐसे बोलते हैं क्या यार? ऐसे बोलते? What is regular expression means? ऐसे बोलते आप? Pattern matching खत्म हो गया है? What is regular expression? Is a special string. What is regular expression? Is a special string. What it contain? Some special characters which are used for searching, matching patterns within string. That is regular expression. Understood? So what is a regular expression? What is a regular expression? Is a special string. Why you create that string? What that string contain? Patterns. The string contain one pattern or not? Yes. That pattern you search where? Within the string. Regular expression is a special string which define search pattern. Regular expression is a special string which define search pattern or match pattern or split pattern. All these are defined by using what? Regular expression. Getting on not? So you can define URL patterns by using one more function. And what is the name of the function is RPath. So sometimes they may ask you like, what is the difference between the path and R path. Okay. So this is a question here. What is the difference? What is the difference between path and what is it R path? So R path in what is this here? Django. DJANGO, right? DJANGO is there, right? So R path, RE path, sorry. R path or RE path. So allows more complex pattern matching using what here? Regular expression. Instead of using which one? Path. You are using what here? RE path. RE path. Sorry, this name is what? RE underscore what? Path is the name of the function. So let me tell you about this RE path function here, right? RE path is the name of the, yes, use it for search pattern, yes. So RE path is an inbuilt function. So where this function is available, RE path is a predefined function, and this function is exist in where DJANGO dot, where it is there in, where is a path, where is a path function in URLs, where is include function in URLs, then where is RE path in URLs. That's all. It is there in which one? URLs. RE path is a predefined function, and this function is exist in what here? DJANGO dot URLs module. URLs module. So RE path, RE hyphen path, hyphen underscore, because function name is an identifier or not? Yes. RE path is used to define URL pattern as what? Regular expression. Okay, as a regular expression, you are defining it as a regular expression, right? Regular expression. What is regular expression? A regular expression is a string. Regular expression is a string which define what? What it define? Search pattern. What it define? Search pattern, or what is that? Match pattern. You are searching one pattern. What pattern you are searching? Date pattern. You are searching for password pattern. You are searching for what? URL pattern. You are searching for what? Time pattern. Time pattern means time, how you give hours, minutes, and seconds. How you give the date, DD, MM, and YY. How you define the password? 4 alphabets, 2 digits, and 2 special characters. So that is one pattern or not? Yes. How you match that pattern? By writing what? Regular expressions. That is done by using regular expression. Okay, right? So you can define the path as a regular expression pattern. See here. You are saying instead of using a path, you can use what here? RE path. And this is prefixed with what here? R. This is prefixed with what here? R. R. It is prefixed with the R. Okay. So now, what is the syntax? What is the syntax of RE path is, you are saying RE underscore what here? Path. Means you define some complex patterns. You define some complex regular expression patterns, URL patterns, or complex URL patterns by using what? RE path. It means you want to search for the URL which starts with what? Which starts with X, which end with what? Y, but in between any number of characters. Now, if you want to search for the pattern, you want to search for the URL with a specific pattern, then you define with what? RE path. RE path. RE path, and it followed by R. R means regular expression string is prefixed with what? R. R means raw string. R means what here? Raw string. Raw string. Raw string. String. What is the difference between the raw string and string here? A string can interpret. A string interprets escape characters. For example, inside a string, if you use \n, \n, \t, okay, \v or \, okay, If you use any escape sequence, it is having a special meaning. Inside the string, if you are using any escape sequence, it is having a special meaning, right? It is having a special meaning. Suppose str1 equal to Python \n. I said what here? Java. Now when I print str1, it interprets. What it interprets here? \n as what here? New line. New line means Python in the next line is what? Java. Means there is a special meaning for what? \n. But I want \n to be treated as what? \n. \n should be treated as what? \n, but not as a new line. Not as a new line. Then what do you do it? You represent this as what? A raw string. I'll write here Python, okay, \n, and I said here what? Java. Now what will happen if I print str2? What it is printed? Python \n, and what is that? Java. But is it this \n is interpreted as a new line? No. \n is not interpreted as what? New line. It is \n is treated as what? \n only. Understood? So these raw strings are used for creating which expression? Regular expression. But you, maybe at the time of learning, you may think that R means what? A regular expression string. You'll say it is what? Regular expression string. But R indicates here which string? Raw string. Means it doesn't interpret which characters? Escape sequences. Escape sequences are treated as escape sequences only, but not as a special characters. Not as a special characters. This is very much helpful even when you are working with the files. Yes, suppose when you are working with the files, you are writing a data. You are writing a data inside what? File. For example, I want to write, there is one string, S1 equal to, I am writing roll number. Suppose there is a roll number \t. Okay, there is a name, because I want to use a separator as what? \t, and there is a \t, and there is a course. And what is the course is? Python. Now I want to write this string inside a file. Okay, then what do you do it? You'll say file object dot, you'll say file object name dot what? Write. File object name dot write. What do you write here? S1. File object dot write. What do you write here? S1. What is S1 is? String. But what write is doing? It is writing the string by interpreting which one? \t. What is \t is? Tab space. Now tab space means how many spaces by default? 8. What is a by default? How many spaces it is? 8 spaces, 101. You have a space, and then nourish, and then you have a space, and here it put what? Python. Means you are unnecessarily wasting. Unnecessarily you are wasting what? Space. I don't want this space. I want this \t. I want it should be what? \t. Then you represent this string as which string? Raw string. So that it doesn't interpret this spaces. But in the place of this, it just include what here? \t. But when you read it, you read and execute this \t as what here? Tab space. But at the time of writing, you don't interpret this. You don't interpret this as what? Tab spaces. If it is that is the case, then the size of the file get increased by including all which characters? Including all which characters? Space characters. Means unnecessarily you are wasting memory. The size of the file get what? Increased. Yes or no? By storing all the spaces. Is the spaces are required or not required? Not required. So because of that, you represent that string as which string here? Raw string. That is called as raw string here, right? Raw string. Okay, raw string. Okay. Now this is nothing but even RE and R, and here you define what? Pattern. Which pattern you are defining? URL pattern. URL pattern is what? Regular expression. URL pattern is a regular expression and it followed by what name? View name. It followed by view name. And RE path, even RE path is used. RE path is used for generating what here? Dynamic. So dynamic what here? URL. Dynamic URL what? Patterns. Dynamic. So path is for what? Static. RE path is for what? Dynamic. Dynamic. Dynamic means during. Dynamic means what? During runtime. During runtime. Suppose I'm just writing path. Okay, path. Here I'm saying index. Okay, what is the name of this here? Index. So index is what here? Static. Okay, always you have to access this view. You have to access this view only with what name? Index name. You have to access this view only with what name? Index name. Now, if I'm writing RE path, if I'm writing RE path and I'm just writing RIN. Okay, I'm saying IN starts with, okay, starts with mesh. What is a character you are using? Cap. Cap is nothing but starts with which one? IN. Starts with which one? IN. IN. And then I'm saying dot. Dot means what? Any character. Dot means any character. Star means any zero or more repetition. Star means zero or more repetition. Dot means any character. Star means zero or more repetitions. Okay, then I'm saying here X dollar. X dollar means ends with X. Ends with X, and then I'm saying here view what? 1. Means now this URL is what? Static or dynamic? Dynamic. This is not a static, right? This is not a static. This is what here? Dynamic. Dynamic means at the time of sending a request, I may send a request like this: HTTP 127.0.0. What is that? 18000 slash, I'm writing here IN. Okay, IN. If I'm writing IN, okay, dot means any character. Dot means what here? Any character. Dot means any character. I'm saying IN, but should end with what here? X. If I'm writing INX, okay, if I'm writing INX, is it this view is called or not called? Tell me, is it this view is called or not called? Called. Now suppose even this view, I can call it by using different URLs because this URL is fixed or dynamic? Dynamic. So D0, so 127.0.0.1, I'm just writing 8000 slash, I'm writing here it as what? Index. Means it must be begin with what? IN. It must be end with what? X. But in between you can have any number of characters. In between you can have any number of characters. If I'm writing HTTP, same view, you are calling by using how many URL patterns here? Same view, you are calling it by using how many URL patterns? One or more than one? More than one. If I'm writing INDX, even it will call which one? View 1. Okay, if I'm writing HTTP colon slash 127.127.0.0.1 colon, I'm saying here 8000. Okay, 8000. If I'm writing some IN, okay, INEX, okay, then is it called or not called? Called. So all these are what here? Valid URLs. All these are valid URLs. But this is fixed or dynamic? Dynamic. All these are dynamic, right? These are dynamic URLs. Understood? So what is the use of this dynamic URLs? So where it is used in real time, like what is the use of generating dynamic URLs? Instead of generating which URLs? static URLs. Instead of generating static URLs, you are trying to generate what? Dynamic URLs by using which function? RE path. Understood? But just to try to understand first what is a fixed and what is a dynamic. Understood? But most of the projects, if you work in real time, right? Most of the path you define it as what? Dynamic, not as which one? Stat. So when you define it as a static and when you define it as what? Dynamic. So what is the difference? What is the difference? So what is the difference between what is this? Static URL and dynamic URL. What is the difference between the static URL and what? Dynamic URL. You define the static URL using path, and dynamic URL you define it by using RE path. Okay, but what is the differences and when to use which one? That differences we'll see in detail, but not today, but we'll see tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow I'll tell you what is exactly the usage of RE path. And even I'll tell you how to send input to the view. How many ways can you send the input to the view? Input is nothing but information. How many ways can you give the input to the view? And what is the advantage of RE path compared to which one? Path. And what is the advantage of path compared to which one? RE path. That we'll discuss. Not today, we'll see tomorrow. Right? So please practice so that you'll get some idea. Right? Thank you. We'll see tomorrow. Right? Yeah. No holiday. Class is there tomorrow. Tomorrow class is there. And Amma, 11th day. అప్లై చేయలేదా సరే చేస్తా